If you're a brand new business owner who is accepting client payments on Venmo, or worse yet, has absolutely no system for keeping track of your clients and their contact information, then you're going to want to listen up. When you don't have solid operational systems supporting the structure of your brand new business, you're not only going to feel like an entrepreneur imposter, but it's going to be absolutely impossible for you to scale your business and see it grow. In today's video, you're going to learn what systems you need to implement in your new business and why. When you do, you'll be well on your way to creating business systems that you'll feel confident using that'll help you take your business to the very next level. Before we go ahead and dive in for the very best advice on creating that business and lifestyle that allows you to have the freedom and flexibility that you've always aspired to have, be sure to tap that bell and hit subscribe so you get notified the next time a new video airs. Prior to starting my own business strategy and coaching practice, I had spent over 15 years, that's the third generation, running my family's wholesale distribution business. And part of that time frame was spent as our VP of operations. Some of the systems that I was responsible for helping build and maintain included processing vendor payments for over 800 vendors, as well as managing inventory across 8 locations in the continental northeastern United States. It was a lot. It was a big operation that we were running. If there's one thing that I learned in that time frame, it's that gaps in your system will cost you. It's going to cost you time, it's going to cost you money, and it's ultimately going to cost you your bottom line. Right? Because it could literally break a brand new business if you don't address your systems or if you don't have systems at all. This is why I personally am so passionate about teaching both aspiring and brand new business owners what systems they need to have in place before they start. Because I want to make sure that when they start their business, they're in it for the long run. Today, I'm sharing 4 business systems that you're going to want to make sure that you have up and running before you even take that first sale. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so what I'm sharing today is really the minimum, the absolute minimum that you want to have in terms of business systems for your brand new business. You're going to end up adding other systems later on as your business grows, but at the very get-go, you want to make sure you have these 4 in place. The first one is a customer relationship management system, otherwise known as a CRM. The objective of the system is quite simply to keep all of your lead, prospect, and client information in one place. So you want to be able to track at what point in the journey they are from being either a lead to a client, paid client. And you also want to keep track of all their contact information. So you want to keep track of any kind of social media handles, if that's how you met them, their phone number, their email address. You want to have a database, right, of your customers. And not only do you want that database, but you also want to be able to track when you last interacted with them. That's the purpose of a CRM. Now, more times than not, people opt for software solutions for their CRM. So one that I love that I use personally is Dubsado is a great one. Other ones can include ActiveCampaign, for example, or MailChimp. They're email services, but they also can function as a CRM. Salesforce is probably the most popular one for corporations and larger businesses. But software solutions are abundant on the internet. You could just Google CRM and you could find tons of different options that could potentially work for you in your new business. Now, one thing I did want to mention too, which is important, is if you don't want to go a software route, that you very simply could set up a CRM in a spreadsheet. So in your spreadsheet, you just want to make sure you're tracking the person's name, you want to track their contact information, you want to track how you met them, and you also want to be tracking the last time you spoke to them. Right? As long as you're tracking where they are in the customer journey, then you're getting the full benefit of having a CRM. It makes it super easy that when you need to follow up with a prospect that maybe needs a little bit more time to think about it, that you are actually going out and doing it and not letting that lead kind of fall through a gap in your system. Now, the next system you're going to want to set up is reporting. And reporting, basically, when I talk about reporting, I'm talking about key performance indicators or KPIs. So key performance indicators are numbers that are tangible within your business that you track to know whether or not your business is going in the right direction. So it could be the total number of sales calls that you had. It could be the total number of closed clients. It's the amount of revenue that you might have generated on a certain day or a certain week. You want to be keeping track of all these metrics, because if you don't, you have no way to know whether or not the actions in your business you're taking are in alignment with actually growing your business. So again, reporting, there's a lot of different software solutions on the market that you can use. So ones that I'm familiar with, I worked a lot with Tableau in the corporate world. Domo, I hear, is another very popular one. These are all systems that allow you to kind of input data and then they let you visualize it into various types of reporting. But again, you don't need anything that complex to start. There's really no reason for it. A simple spreadsheet will do you fine as well, when it comes to creating reports. So when you create your reporting spreadsheet, here are some things that you're going to want to make sure that you're tracking. You want to track your number of leads, your number of prospects and clients. So again, this will also be more or less tracked in your CRM system if you're doing that. But you want to have a report that you can, print out monthly to look at your growth separately, right? So your number of leads, sales, clients, so on and so forth. You also want to be tracking your marketing campaign results. So whether you're marketing via networking, like I said, check out this video right here if you want to learn more about networking. But when you are networking, you want to, be tracking the total number of people that you met. How many one-on-one meetings did you do? How many of those one-on-one meetings turned into a sale? If you're doing social media, for example, you want to be tracking, per post, what was your engagement per post? How many DMs did you get? How many sales conversations, right? So you want to be assigning tangible numbers to report on for different types of revenue driving activities. Also, depending on the type of business that you run, you also need to be tracking your product sales and your inventory. Overall sales, if you have inventory, you need to know exactly what you have on hand, what you need to order, you need to be able to forecast, and keeping track of these numbers make it that much easier to be able to do that for your business. And again, it could be a simple spreadsheet. So I'd love to know who I'm sharing this info with. So are you a brand new business owner? If so, go ahead, comment below. Let me know who you are, what type of business you're starting up. I'd love to get to know you better. So next up, you're going to have payment processing systems, right? The objective for this is you want to be collecting money. Obviously, that's the whole purpose of being in business, right? You can collect cash, you can collect credit card, checks, ACH payments. These are all different ways that you could be taking revenue in from your customers and your clients. Ways to go about this, obviously, are to explore different credit card processors. The vast majority of your clients are going to want to pay via credit card. So that's where you're going to start. One thing that's really important to know is you want to be using a business credit card processor. You do not want to be using a service like Venmo. Reason being is because services like Venmo are designed for using with individuals, and they don't charge any kind of credit processing fees, as well as take into account any taxes. And it just becomes an absolute nightmare reporting it, right, for your accountant when you finally get to that point. So you definitely want to be using a business payment processor. So some of my favorites include, PayPal is very, very well used, and actually PayPal owns Venmo. So let's just throw that out there. So you got PayPal, you've got Stripe, which I personally use. A lot of folks use Square. There are tons of payment processors out there. Do some research, Google, find one that works for you, but you definitely want to make sure, even if you are just starting out, that you're using a business one. If you are just starting out from scratch, the two I would explore would be PayPal and Stripe. I find those are the easiest ones to get up and running quick. Last but not least, the final system that you are going to have to get set up for your business is your bookkeeping and accounting, right? So it's one thing to be collecting money from your clients. You also have to track your outgoing expenses as well. So the objective for having bookkeeping and accounting is to keep track of both your income as well as your expenses, and to be able to, again, analyze, whether or not your business is profitable. The only way you could do that is by tracking the numbers and looking at it every month. Now, one thing to know is that bookkeeping is different than accounting. So bookkeeping, quite simply, is the tracking of everything. So it's inputting all the information that you spent, this much on your website, this much on inventory, tracking all your expenses and tracking your incoming payments coming in. And then accounting is the analysis of that data. So more times than not, I actually recommend hiring a CPA, a certified public accountant, to help you with the accounting side of your business. But if you're not going to hire a bookkeeper, that's something that's very simple that you could start out with in your own new business, but you need to have the system in place. There's lots of software on the market that make bookkeeping super simple. Some's free, some are paid. So some of the more popular ones that I've worked with and I've had clients work with include QuickBooks, Xero, FreshBooks. These are all great. I've had some folks who have worked with Zoho Books, for example. Again, just do a quick Google search on bookkeeping. Bookkeeping software will bring you lots of different ones to try, and you can have free trials as well for all of them. But if you're just starting out and that is overkill, again, that's nothing wrong with that. You could do a simple spreadsheet where you just pull the information from your business banking account and account for every dollar spent. And then you have all of the information that you need to provide your accountant later to then analyze for you. But you have to have the system in place to keep track of it, because if you don't keep track of what you're spending and what you have coming in, you could actually be losing money every single day on your business and not know it at all. So the $1 million question here is, how do you get started with building your business systems? It's overwhelming, especially if you've never done anything like this before. Truth is, I've actually found it's easier if you are crystal clear first on who your ideal client avatar, your ICA, is, so who your target client is, as well as understanding how they like to conduct business. Some folks, like I said, they'll want to do credit card, they'll want to do cash. Right? So being able to build your business systems around what your target client is going to prefer and demand is easier than building a whole system and then having to change it once you learn what your client's preferences are. Clarifying your ideal client avatar, as well as building your minimal business systems that we've talked about today, are all things that we teach in my paid program, the Validate Your Biz Blueprint. If you're an aspiring or brand new entrepreneur and you want to work together on creating the business systems that we've talked about today in today's video, I'd love to invite you to book a call to discuss whether or not the Validate Your Biz Blueprint can help you achieve your business goals. Apply to book your call today by clicking the link below in the description. So go ahead and check out these videos next to learn even more ways to grow your brand new business. And if you like this video, be sure to hit like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. I'll see you next time.